reacting to the check whatsoever.
Watch him play it. Watch him play it. Because this move, it's also, you pause here, you calculate, you realize it's really the only way to go. If the knight captures the bishop, the rook wins the queen with a check. If you move anywhere on the g file, the bishop captures with a check. So it's got to be king h8 through the process of elimination. If Nodirbek spotted knight d5, he's got to have seen king to h8.
Absolutely.
And you can see the determination in him.
Yeah, I completely agree. It is the only move for Nodirbek. Anything else, he is going to lose a rook with check, or he's going to be losing his queen. So the only move available to him is to step back with the king. He's just trying to control his excitement. But what a great game there from Nodirbek. From finding that incredible tactic to net himself a pawn and then just reacting in a really beautiful manner. Okay, there was one chance for Max to save the day, but ultimately it was a very complicated position. And like you say to you, Tanya, humans, they crack. They cannot withstand the pressure.
And even when Max managed to create muddy waters, Nodirbek kept his calm. He kept his cool. He kept the game going. He kept his defenses. He captured on e5. He walked into those pins, and that shows nerves of steel. And I think it's Magnus who said this about Nodirbek, right? Amongst the younger generation, he's the one with the strongest killer instinct. And you can see it. His aura, his demeanor when he sits on the board, how he leans forward, his death stares that we've seen him give. He's mentioned it himself. He was at the Tata Steel Chess India. And he said he loved playing against his Indian colleagues because he knew exactly where to strike against them. And he's always ready for that fight. And look at him. He senses the win here. He knows he's done what had to be.
He knows he's moving in for the kill, Tanya. He smells blood. Absolutely. He said it himself. He is here to win. And the lesson that he learned from previous years was he is not going to be in a tiebreak for first place. He wants it all alone.
2021 World Rapid Champion. He's the currently ranked world number 6. And for Nodirbek, what a game this has been with the black pieces. Taking his chances, taking risks, not at all having any cautious, solid approach to the position. Starting from the opening, this idea of putting the bishop on c6, forcing white to make some uncomfortable decisions. It's beautifully played out. Excellent chess by Nodirbek. He's gone king h8, he of course finds it.
Of course, as one would expect from a player. Max, not much time on the clock.
You could have an hour in this position. It wouldn't help you.
Yeah, and it's not enough. Unfortunately, that is the case. The central knights, they are just too dangerous. They are getting ready to just pounce on the white king. And let's not forget that the king standing on c1 is very vulnerable to checks from the queen on a3, and also just the rook on e3, which is about to fall.
And I don't really see a way, because if you move the queen to b2, you're allowing a c5 check after knight e3. If you move the queen to d4, after knight takes rook, you're allowing a check on a3. He does go queen to d4, and now Nodirbek expecting him to just capture on e3 and jump in with the queen. You look at the guy and you feel like he's calculated all the way through to checkmate.
It's quite the scene, quite the impression that Nodirbek makes, the way that he looks towards his opponent's king, and you feel the excitement in the air. He is on the verge of winning this game, and if he does that, it will be, as Tanya says, a party of two at the top as he joins Pragnananda in the lead. He's had a tremendous start, Tanya, to this event. First game, he was very much putting pressure on Prag. He should have won that game, but some slip-ups and it ended in a draw. Yesterday, he was so impressive against Leon Mendonça, and today, also equally good.
Superb stuff. And I think it's this demeanor, this body language, this presence that Nodirbek has that is different from his, from his generation. I haven't seen this kind of sort of confidence, this kind of feel of going in for the kill by the others. Sometimes it backfires because you can feel the tension in him. He doesn't feel as relaxed in certain moments. But for the most part, it's so difficult to deal with it as an opponent, because Nodirbek has that presence that he's coming in for it. He's coming in for the king, and he is going to do it. Bishop takes rook on the board right now. Queen a3, also marked by a blue arrow, is the best move, and it's the only move in the position that keeps the advantage. Everything else will neutralize the pressure, but it's not a tough one to find. It's also, according to you, Jovanka, checks, captures, and threats. It's a check that's screaming to be given.
It is absolutely asking to be played. And again, I'm going to quote you, Tanya. If there is no checkmate here, I don't know when there will be. I mean, you have a queen and knight surrounding the white king, and they are the magic duo. They work so effectively together because they control all the squares on the board. They're able to work on dark squares, white squares, and I'm expecting now some more checks.
Well, the only thing that's working in Max's favor is that the knight on e5 is still pinned to the king on h8. And Nodirbek, he does respond. He keeps all the threats on the board, so he's trying to get rid of that pinned knight. He wants the queen to move away, because then the black knight can jump to f3 or to c4, and then that will definitely be checkmate. But Jovanka, can white... I mean, I see the bar, so it doesn't work. I was looking at knight takes queen, knight f7 check, because the black king doesn't have too many squares himself. You've got to go to h7, and I think you just survive. Bishop g6, king g7.
Well, there's also the unfortunate matter that the queen on a3 can give a check on a2 and cover the f7 square.
Oh, that's brutal.
If needed.
So you just throw in a check and then take it.
Yeah. And, well, Nodirbek, he realizes that everyone should be involved in the attack. And now the problem is, where is the queen going to step back to? She cannot offer herself up for trade because Max is simply a lot of material down. She has to keep an eye on the knight on e5. She also has to prevent the rook from delivering a check on d8. There is no way the white king wants the big guys, the king, the queen, and the rook surrounding it. So it is such a difficult position, and we have a handshake. It is a win for Nodirbek, and he moves on to 2.5 points out of 3, and now moves into the joint lead alongside Pragnananda. Tanya, what a display there from the Uzbek.